Breaking news, hot off the press. So it looked like Caitlin Clark has arrived in North Carolina to make her big return back to the basketball court. Now, earlier today, I reported on Caitlin Clark coming back to the basketball court. And I'm telling you right now, it is definitely going to be a sight to see.
Since the day she was left off the list, Caitlin Clark has hardly spoken about Team USA. Up until today, there hasn't been a tirade or an angry post, because she did something far more potent than criticizing the coaches when she eventually discussed that choice. She gave the impression that Team USA was never truly in control. After watching this video, you'll see why those who previously felt at ease ignoring her now appear to have no other option.
The more things change, the more things stay the same. Team USA for the 2024 Olympics made a huge mistake. They left Caitlin Clark off the Olympic team. If the goal was to grow the game, needed to be on that team, but from a straight skill standpoint, Caitlin Clark deserved it for sure. Here we are, upcoming for the 2026 FIFA World Cup roster, and Team USA has went the correct route, in my opinion. They embraced the young guns. They embraced the younger generation, the generation that more casuals know, names that are more familiar. Not Alyssa Thomas. Who's Alyssa Thomas? No, we left her off.
The internet went crazy when the first Team USA list was released sans Caitlin Clark's name. It was referred to as a joke by fans. TV programs featured lengthy portions discussing how to ignore the biggest star in women's basketball. In private, a few veterans approved of the change. She would receive her time later, according to others. Caitlin remained nearly silent during all of that commotion. No hateful remarks about me, no subtweets. Despite having a fever, she returned to work, responded to inquiries in the most courteous manner possible, and repeated herself. Being in the pool itself is an honor. Selecting the team is not my responsibility. It is my responsibility to be prepared. That sounded like the typical media training line on the surface, but there was more to it than that.
So the WNBA media is absolutely positively lying to you about the impact of Caitlin Clark on the viewership of this league. And we all kind of know that, because reality is that yes, the WNBA was growing, but the reason why there was exponential growth, the reason why Unrivaled grew so much year on year, is because of the exponential boom caused by Caitlin Clark.
It required patience. It was computation. Because reality did not stop for them, even while Team USA continued as if nothing had happened. Ratings continued to come in, and the league continued to play. Every time Caitlin touched the ground, a bizarre event occurred. The road audiences were sold out. Jerseys were flying off the shelves. TV numbers resembled playoff games for men. You cannot dispute one basic reality, regardless of your feelings for her. Caitlin Clark modifies the calculations.
And last year, the WNBA rose in viewership for national TV games. If you guys don't know, Caitlin Clark games have 3 times the amount of viewers as non-Caitlin Clark and non-Fever games. The entire league wants to give Caitlin Clark no credit, and this is the league, the media, and by the way, I say the league because this is the media the league are promoting.
Now, let's fast forward to the interview. The question that everyone has been anticipating. What was your true opinion of the Team USA choice? She had the option to express all of her feelings. She could have claimed to have been treated disrespectfully. She had the option to keep the selecting committee waiting. Rather, she acted entirely in accordance with her brand. She maintained her composure. She expressed her admiration for the coaches. She acknowledged that they had a procedure. She discussed fit, injuries, and time. She described how she was concentrating on the fever and improving. There was one unsaid message in between each line. You have a limited amount of time to ignore me. When people suggest that Team USA had no choice, they are referring to this. Caitlin never lets out a scream. She never said that they needed me. She just uses 3 straightforward methods to guide you through reality. The reality of basketball comes first. This isn't a 5-on-5 situation. Basketball played internationally is physically demanding. It moves more slowly. Teams challenge you to shoot while packing the paint. Every time Team USA falters, their main flaw is the same: playmaking, shooting, and spacing when the game becomes ugly. What is the foundation of Caitlin's entire skill set? Quick reads, deep range, and rhythmic passing to shooters. It appears to be the precise issue she resolves when you watch Team USA struggle against a packed-in defense. The business reality comes in second. You can act as though it has nothing to do with business, but it always does. Networks are interested in more than just gold medals. They're looking for narratives. Characters are what they want. They want casual viewers to make time in their schedules to watch. Caitlin Clark is that person at the moment. You can therefore discern the subtext when she describes the circumstances with a straight face and expresses gratitude for even being taken into consideration. The figures are what they are. The sales of tickets are what they are. It is the worldwide interest. Team USA can strive to transcend all of that. Even the most conventional program must eventually glance at the scoreboard off the court. The reality of politics comes in third. It is impossible to discuss this without acknowledging the reality. In women's basketball, there is an elderly guard. Players who have spent years honing their craft. Players who believe they have to learn things the hard way. They might think that Caitlin skipped the line. Thus, her exclusion from the roster was referred to by some as basketball fit, by others as ego, and by still others as respect for veterans. It originated from the same source, regardless of the label you choose. The notion that the original players own the program. That's why her composed reaction is so risky. She doesn't give anyone a clap in return. She doesn't encourage the conflict. She merely responds to the query as though she is aware that the ground has already changed. Because it becomes increasingly clear that Team USA cannot avoid the drama the more she plays. They are a component of it. Like everyone else, they are impacted by her. Therefore, this is what people mean when they say they have no option. The committee was forced into a corner by a mix of public opinion, business pressure, and performance rather than by the committee sitting in a room and saying those exact words. Every game she participated in without wearing that USA shirt made the initial choice appear worse. It became more difficult to defend keeping her out with each new rating, sold-out venue, and child wearing a Clark jersey. And this is the most striking aspect. There was never a threat from Caitlin. She never said that she would leave. She never pleaded to be included. She simply continued to play. She allowed others to make arguments on her behalf. She let the numbers speak for themselves. She wasn't attempting to persuade anyone when she eventually opened up about it. She was just reaffirming your feelings. This is the reason this moment is so important. On this day, she ceased to be the rookie who was ignored and began to sound like the star that the system must now adjust to. Not only in college, but also on national teams and in the WNBA. It poses a challenging question for Team USA. Are you selecting the top 12 players on paper or the 12 players that provide you the highest chance of winning basketball games in the real world? A universe in which a single player has the power to alter your ratings, sponsorship talks, and how each opponent gets ready for you. For Caitlin, it demonstrates something straightforward but potent. To demonstrate authority, you don't need to scream. To prove you were wronged, you don't need to act like a victim. Waiting for others to realize they need you more than you need them, being patient, and showing respect can sometimes be the most destructive thing you can do. I have a question for you now. Did Team USA overplay their hand and be brought back to reality by the numbers, the crowd, and the pressure, or did they leave her off because they genuinely thought it was the right basketball call? Leave a comment with your response. Was this a business decision, a pure hoop decision, or both? Additionally, if you're still watching, please leave no choice in the comments so I know you watched through to the very end.
Again, it's interesting. No Asia Wilson, no Angel Reese. Everybody leads you to believe that it's always Angel. Nah, they just told you. The next one up is Sabrina Ionescu. That actually does not surprise me for some reason. I don't know why.
Asia Wilson was recently let go from Team USA. That's how it feels, at least. The face of the final Olympic squad did not have a news conference, a statement, or a goodbye tour. Rather, USA Basketball discreetly released a roster at its December training camp.
fall soon. I mean, I don't know how much access we'll actually have to this, but Team USA announced the official invites for the training camp they'll be having in December, and Caitlin Clark amongst them, as is her teammate Aaliyah Boston. So those teammates get to team up for Team USA, which makes a lot of sense. And I've said for a while, I think that the next version of the USA Olympic team could be a bit of a dream team, given you'll have the players that came up in this explosive era of basketball, along with the remaining veterans who are still in their prime. And it will be this recognizable roster, of course, headlined by Caitlin Clark, who rather famously didn't make the team in 2024.
It bore the name of Caitlin Clark. It wasn't A'ja Wilson. Fans didn't require a news release when the list appeared online. They said the 2 words on your thumbnail, "You're fired," as they watched A'ja stay at home and Caitlin enter the camp. As this isn't your typical camp, the plans for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics and the 2026 World Cup are being created here.
And it is, we are going to see Caitlin Clark back on a basketball court with other participants. This is going to be rather interesting because we are going to see Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Beckers all playing together. Now, we talked about the fact that Team USA, I believe it is in March, is going to play, I believe, in some qualifiers. That's probably when we're going to get to see Caitlin Clark play actual meaningful basketball again. But training camp is coming. The senior camp is coming. And it's coming in like 2 weeks. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, and Juju Watkins.
Additionally, A'ja Wilson is observing from the sidelines while Caitlin Clark is inside the building. How did we get here, then? A'ja was marketed for years as the safe face of women's basketball, a champion, an MVP, a formidable defender, and a gold medalist for Team USA. She was the one player who ought to have been untouchable. However, the game chose a different player at some point. It took more than just showing up and hitting logo threes for Caitlin Clark to succeed. Every record you can think of was broken by her. She sold out venues that had never given women's basketball a second thought. She forced advertisers to change their budgets, TV networks to change their schedules, and companies to follow suit. Every big sponsor seeking a worldwide presence, like State Farm and Nike, didn't think twice. "Let's build around the old guard," was not what they said. They declared, "We want Caitlin Clark." A'ja found herself in a situation she had never experienced before as a result of that change. She changed from being the target of everyone's pursuit to being the one pursuing. Every time Caitlin accomplished something noteworthy, the old guard would say something new or make a comment about how other players ought to have been there first. How fascinating the focus was. How the real hierarchy wasn't reflected in the excitement. Although it sounded like standard competitive discourse on paper,